Hey guys, Ryan here at Signature Edits, and welcome to another photography marketing tutorial. Inside of this video, we are going to be talking about fixing your marketing funnel. Are you ready? Let's get into it. Alright, so today's quick marketing video is all about fixing your funnel, so let me just draw you a beautiful example, because if there's nothing else I'm amazing at, it is clearly drawing funnels. So this is your marketing funnel. Just pretend with me. And at the top here, we have all of the different sources of leads you have. So you might have Facebook, you might have Instagram, referrals, your mom, the usual, right? And basically, your referrals reach out to you. That is where your funnel starts. And you take people through your funnel, hopefully to booking on the other side. And out of your funnel comes money. Pretty simple, pretty easy, pretty straightforward, probably a concept you're familiar with. But what I want to talk about today is actually fixing the holes in your funnel, because I think what we spend a lot of time on when it comes to looking at different marketing tutorials and methods for getting more bookings is we focus all on this stuff. We focus on how do I get more leads? How do I get more people to follow me? How do I get more people on my Instagram, on my Facebook? How do I get more visitors to my website? And all of that stuff is great, but it doesn't help much if your funnel is full of holes. And you've got these leads who never actually make their way into bookings. Well, you can have as many leads coming in as you want. If you don't have a funnel that is actually watertight, those aren't going to turn into bookings, so it really doesn't matter how much time you spend on your Facebook, your Instagram, your referrals, or your mom's good words. Just not going to cut it until we address the other issues that are getting in the way of bookings. So how do we actually go about doing this? It starts off by actually mapping out your marketing process, and this is something that is super, super powerful, but most people don't take the time to actually sit down and think about. So what I like to do, and I think is a really interesting way of looking about it, is to start with the end in mind. So obviously the end is going to be your client is happy and they are ready to share you with the world. I love them. And they recommend you to all of their friends, and those friends go and they book you, right? That's the end goal. We sit down with a piece of paper and we write it down. We've got a raving customer who sends us referrals. Right, that's the goal. And so now we say, okay, what would be the step immediately before getting to this end goal? And so I think probably having an amazing experience would be the next step before reaching this goal, right? And then I go one step further. So what would be before having that amazing experience? Probably that they would have booked us. And before that, let's say they probably would have had a call with me, and before that, an email inquiry, and before that, probably they would have found and stalked my social media, and before that, they would have found me through a referral or through social or initial, whatever kind of area that is coming from. And this is the area that we spend 95% of our marketing efforts. And that's not a bad thing. This is important. If people don't find your website in the first place, it really doesn't matter how good the rest of this is. But at the same time, if you have a leaky funnel, if this right here isn't actually strong, every step of this process, you might be losing people at the same point every single time. You might be getting people who find your work, and they stalk your social media and they find, oh, it's old, it's dated, it doesn't line up, it's not consistent in style, whatever it is, and then you never hear from them again. And that's where you're losing most of your customers and you don't even realize it. Or maybe it's when you actually get to the email and you just send them a blank email or a blanket email with a PDF with your pricing, and they say, and they never really follow through, and you're losing customers there. And you don't even realize it, that there are holes in this funnel and you're losing customers with something that's so easy to go in and just work and think about and improve. So what I want you to do is sit down and say to yourself, okay, what is every single step of this process leading all the way from the end result that I'm going for, all the way back to that initial inquiry? And then when you actually write these steps down, you can go through step by step and say, okay, how can I assure that this happens? What would it take to make this happen? So that amazing wow factor, that's what we're going to work on first, because we want to get this raving customer. To have that amazing wow factor, obviously my photography has to be amazing. So photos, awesome. And to have that wow factor, I need to do something extra. So maybe a gift as a surprise, or time, or some kind of service. I need to be personal. I need to, whatever, add value, right? That's the main thing that is going to have that wow factor, is if people get more than what they expect. That is what creates wow factor. When you pay somebody for something and you get so much more than you ever expected, that's a wow kind of business. And that's the kind of business you brag about and recommend to your friends, right? So that's what you need to think about. How can I specifically actually do these things to make this step happen? Now we're going to go to the book me step. So obviously, in order to book me, they're going to have to feel like I am worth it. They're also going to have to feel like they have a connection with me. / it's not super awkward. Next step would be the call me and the consult. So I'm going to think about, okay, what is this going to take to actually do this well? What would that involve? So I want to build rapport. I want to add value and establish myself as a professional. Now, this is really, really important, and something that you can do as a photographer so easily is when you actually initially hear from your bride, from your groom, from your whoever it is, whether you do wedding photography or not, this example still applies to you, just it might be a little bit different in the details. What you have to do when you have that initial consult is establish yourself as the expert and provide value upfront before they book you. And if you do that, that's going to be so much more likely to produce a booking. So what I mean by that is when I actually sit down with a bride and groom, I'm going to ask them questions about, oh, when did you consider having your ceremony time? Have you planned a first look, or is that something you're thinking about? And they'll say yes or no, or it's happening at this time, and then I will offer helpful suggestions, because the couple, most of the time, has not been married before. They have no idea what they're doing, and I do this all the time. So here's the spot where I can serve them and give them that extra value up front before they've booked me, and hopefully establish myself as an expert and also a friend who's helping them out, right? I'm not going to hold back. I'm not going to wait for them to book me before I provide that value. I'm going to do everything that I can in advance, right? So if they're having their wedding at this specific venue in town, I'm going to suggest some different photo shoot locations that they could check out next time they're in the area, right? If they are going to be in town visiting to check out venues and book vendors, I'm going to see if they have a specific liking of food. They love Chinese food or they love Thai. I'm going to say, you should definitely check out this restaurant. If you are in town for a little bit longer, all these kind of things that you can do to provide insight to these people, it's going to establish more value and more trust. So that's kind of an aside, that's a bonus for you, but every stage of this, we want to map out and say, what is the best I can possibly do this? How can I improve this? How can I ensure success in this area? And slowly, we're going to be able to take that funnel and fill in those holes. And the more holes we fill in, the higher that conversion rate goes, the less we need to even worry about getting all of these extra inquiries, because if you get 80% of people who reach out to you book, well, all of a sudden you're going to be much happier than if you had 10 times the bookings, but only 5% actually decided to book. Don't trust me on that. The math might actually work out to the same. I have no idea. Either way, you're going to be sending less emails. You're going to be less stressed out because people are just more likely to book you because you're confident and you've got a great funnel. Okay, so that is the marketing tip for today. This isn't necessarily the perfect step-by-step master plan, but you need to come up with your own. Sit down, start with the end result in mind, no matter what kind of photography you do, and say, okay, what do I have to do to get to that point? And be as detailed as you can. This is super, super vague. I would need to go in and insert as many possible steps and different outlines as I could, because you want to get a really clear kind of conviction and vision of what it's going to take to really make this funnel work for you. Okay, so I hope this video was helpful for you. If it was, please do me a big favor. Hit that thumbs up button, because it really does a lot for that master YouTube algorithm, our overlord slaves. And if you have questions, comments, or you have a future video request, do me a favor, leave that in the comments below. Otherwise, hit subscribe for more videos, and I will see you in the next one. Peace.